Just on the theme of the Panov-Botvinnik attack, I thought I should briefly show you a game of Mikhail Botvinnik himself against Alexander Budo in 1938. So USSR Championship semi-final. E4 from Mikhail, and we see the same position that I had in my over-the-board game last night for quite a while. So D takes C4, white has the isolated queen's pawn, both sides castle, but we see knight BD7, so this has got different perks to it to be able to establish a blockade in a more clear-cut manner, because if knight C6, white can play A3 like in my game last night. It's more difficult for the knight to come to D5 later if B4 is deprived. So we see knight BD7 in this game, queen E2, and this blockade is established on D5 against the isolated queen's pawn. And not only that, the bishop's coming around to this diagonal anyway, so the moving of this pawn is not necessary. The bishop can still come to that seemingly very dangerous diagonal. But bishop C6, knight E5, it is on a target for this knight. Goes to D5. But now bishop C2, and white does enjoy a pleasant knight outpost and pleasant pressure on black's king side. Knight FD7, trying to sort of exchange off pieces, which is one of the ideas generally for black playing against the isolated queen's pawn to relieve the pressure. The exchange is rejected. Bishop F4. Knight takes E5, which leaves a dangerous pawn now on E5. So H7 is really a little bit of a problem. And often we do see, okay, this translation, the isolated queen's pawn being removed, and we've got this pin now. But bishop G5. Now Mikhail goes in crudely with queen H5, but effectively, because it's creating a weakness, to question H7. How does black actually defend against this simple mate threat and defend the bishop? Well, weakness is created with H6. We see the bishop dropping back. Now Queen C7 is played. It's difficult to suggest an easy way to play this for black in this position, because white might actually be threatening, for example, F4 and F5 if nothing else. This pin's quite annoying against the queen. So Queen C7. And here actually we see H4 being used, not F4. Bishop's kicked away. And now white enjoys a space advantage with this pawn. And can you spot Mikhail's next move, which is really quite an aggressive attacking move? Now on move 20. If I give you 10 seconds starting from now. Okay. Rook D4. This is really aggressive and direct. The rook can come here to threaten things like Queen H6 and stuff like that. Queen C5. Rook G4. How does black actually deal with the threats here? It looks as though the king's had it. If for example King H8, then there's numerous ideas available to white, including, for example, I would say Bishop F4 is pretty dangerous. Let's do a very quick engine check of this critical position. I think Bishop F4 comes up as absolutely really dangerous for black. Black's king is getting exterminated here. Okay, so just the threat of taking is just too much. We have this sort of position. It's just slaughter time. Okay, so basically, very difficult position. We see F5 from black. E takes. Rook takes to try and defend that G6 square, because otherwise Queen G6. Now Bishop E5, a very powerful forcing move in this position, and it looks as though, well, there might be a flaw to this. If the rook moves to F7, then white has, I think, good attacking resources here bishop h7, but let's just do a quick check of that. Bishop h7 I think is good here, but there might be something even stronger. Bishop takes g7 is apparently absolutely crushing, so let's say this position, check. Now we have rook takes g7, queen g6 in its mating. So that's the kind of disaster which can happen here. Okay, so black actually played bishop c6, which looks like a clever move, creating this pin. But can you see what Mikhail played now? It's a real crusher, bone crushing move. If I give you 10 seconds starting from now. Okay, the pin rebounds actually. Rook takes g7. And black actually resigns here. So the basic variation, we can just win the queen, but let's check in this final position on king, let's say king f8. Here just rook h7 is very good apparently, so white's threatening rook h8 check, or even queen g4. It's absolutely hopeless. And if king h8, we have mate in free check, and actually a very beautiful move here, the engine's pointed out, queen f7 check. Beautiful stuff. Okay, so yeah, it was a really crushing Mikhail Botvinnik game in this Panov-Botvinnik attack, which I thought I should show you just based on knight bd7 as opposed to knight c6. Okay, I hope yeah, this line you might experiment maybe successfully at some point in blitz, or even in a long game one day. I think it is quite a dangerous system against the Caro-Kann defense. Comments or questions on YouTube? Thanks very much.